What's up, my friends? JLD here, and welcome to Master Microstrategy, where we take an in depth look at the daily actions of microstrategy and Michael Saylor's genius 7 days a week. Now, please remember this is not financial advice. Please consult a professional before making any financial decisions. But man, we have a huge day today. I mean, these things just keep going, these stories keep breaking. I mean, here we are right now on the MicroStrategy page. You can see it's up 14.8% today. It's, knocking on that door of $500 per share. I mean, this stock just keeps going up and up and up. Now, of course, it's going to take a break and a breather and a potential little bit of a retrace at some point. It has to. It's natural. It's okay, but it hasn't for quite some time. And a lot of good news is breaking, which we'll get into. One of those things, by the way, is check out this right here, MSTR-tracker.com. It's down right now. And guess why I think it's down? I don't know why it's down, but I think it's down because too many people are trying to access this and it's overloaded the site. It's crashing the site. Hopefully, the person behind this is going to upgrade the server because there's a lot of interesting information on here, of course. But it's down for right now, which again, I think it's because the price is just flying up. And so people just want to see more about it and keep learning more. And more people are probably being shown that site and that page. Crazy times. But here we are. $494.50 is MicroStrategy's current price. Again, it's up just under 15%. Will it hit $500 today? Time will tell, but the market cap is over $100 billion now, which is insane. And we'll be getting into some of that more as we go through some of the top stories from the day. One of those top stories is Bitcoin and MicroStrategy, the feedback loop that pushed MSTR into the top 100 club. And if you scroll down here a little bit, it talks about it joining the 100 club, top 100 club, and shows its current ranking of 85. I mean, it passed Starbucks, it passed John Deere today. As you can see at the current time of this article, it was $111 billion with that price point right there. So right around where we are right now, it jumped 48 places. That's just insanity. And they talk about this, the loop, this continuous loop, which is, where Michael Saylor is purchasing, or I should say, he is offering shares at the market that are being bought up by new individuals, by new shareholders, by current shareholders. And then he's taking that money and he's buying Bitcoin with it. And that is accretive to all of us shareholders. And then also he's issuing convertible debt, which we'll be getting into in a little bit here. And he's using that convertible debt at like 0%, at 0.8%, and he's buying more Bitcoin, which is, of course, accretive for shareholders as well. So there's just a lot of good things that are happening. This feedback loop is continuing to go. I mean, of course, this is a lot of this is predicated on Bitcoin continuing to go up because as Bitcoin goes, MicroStrategy goes. Just realize that it's a very correlated play because MicroStrategies is anywhere between a 1.5 to a 2x leverage play on Bitcoin. That's just the reality. So it's good in the good times. It's not so good in the not so good times. Moving on to the next article. MicroStrategy unleashes 2.6 billion bet on Bitcoin with convertible notes offering. And this is what I was just talking about. 0% convertible senior notes set to mature in 2029. So $2.6 billion. You can just see that this is no interest, big moves. It spells bold Bitcoin play. And so there's just a lot of really cool and exciting things going on here around that. So I wanted to highlight that as well. This next one, MicroStrategy stock is surging Wednesday. What's going on? Some of the key points were that MicroStrategy announces the pricing of an upsize offering of 0% senior notes due in 2029, and that they plan on using the net proceeds to buy more Bitcoin as crypto soars to all-time highs. And that's exactly the playbook. This is the Saylor playbook. It is to use fiat, to use dollars to buy Bitcoin, and then to raise more money in dollars to sell MicroStrategy shares ATM at the market in dollars, and then buy Bitcoin with that. Bitcoin is going up. With inflation, the value of the dollars are going down. That is a great play for obvious reasons, and that's the reason why MicroStrategy keeps going up. These convertible debt instruments are unbelievably appealing. If you watch the Q3 earnings report, he got into, there was a blended return of over 90% on this convertible debt on these things, on these offerings that he's giving to these individuals that can't buy crypto, they can't buy Bitcoin, they can't even, a lot of them, buy MicroStrategy because they are in the world, in a world where they can only buy convertible notes, where they can only buy bonds, they can only buy those things. And that's what the power of MicroStrategy is. Michael Saylor is creating the Bitcoin treasury that is going to allow him to offer these type of things to individuals and companies that can only invest in those type of products and services. And again, he goes over that on the Q3 call. Very fascinating. Now we're moving on to today's top tweets. Okay, the first tweet from today is from the Bitcoin Therapist. Everyone wants to discredit MicroStrategy's market cap because they think it's too good to be true. The truth is, Michael Saylor just happened to be the first to do it with conviction. There's a reward for being first. Just look at history. Pioneers and technology demand a premium. My friends, Michael Saylor was doing this back in 2020. He was buying at the top of the market when it was 65,000, 69,000. He was buying at the bottom of the market when it was 16,000, 18,000, 20,000. He was doing this at a loss. The company was negative over $1 billion, over $2 billion. I don't know the total dollar amount he was down, but I know it was in the billions that they were down on their Bitcoin purchases. But he held and he kept buying, and he dollar cost averaged, and now he's reaping those rewards. And if MSTR tracker would come up, and we'll check in a minute here if it does, I'm sure it would show that he's up 14, 15 billion now. Yesterday it was 13 billion. So what is it now? Like, we'd have to check the numbers. It's absolutely insane. And I could not agree more with this tweet, because guess what? The pioneer should get the outsized returns, and he's a pioneer. Let's go to the next tweet right now. This is from Bitcoin Archive. MicroStrategy is up again in pre-market. The more Saylor buys, the higher the stock goes. The higher the stock, the more Bitcoin he buys. Incredible to watch the greatest trade of all time unfold. And here you go, MicroStrategy. And again, look at this. Retracement, retracement, retracement. They're going to happen. Those are going to happen. It's okay. As Bitcoin goes up and down, MicroStrategy goes up and down, and different people want to take more and less risk with MicroStrategy because of the NAV, et cetera. It's going to go up and down, and that's okay. But you see what he's doing. He's using dollars to buy Bitcoin that's causing Bitcoin to go up. When Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy stock goes up. And when MicroStrategy stock goes up, he does more ATMs at the market. And when he does sells more shares at the market, he uses that more money to buy more Bitcoin, which causes Bitcoin to go up, which causes MicroStrategy to go up. That's the infinite loop. That is the infinite money glitch that Michael Saylor is talking about. I love it. Next tweet is from Ben Workman. The beauty is that once Mara is done buying Bitcoin, and that's a Bitcoin miner, with their $1 billion. MSTR will be right there to start up with their $2 billion at the market, ATM, maybe more. So make sure you reach out to your favorite bear friends to do a wellness check. Hopefully you don't have any friends that are bears, because they're hurting right now. So please reach out to them if you do. But this is the game theory activated. That's the best way to put it. Game theory activated. Just recognize that, embrace it. They're talking about a Polish president, or I should say, he's running for the presidency, is saying he wants to jump on the Bitcoin standard. Other individuals, of course, in El Salvador and Argentina, Malay and Bukele, they are implementing this game theory. You're hearing about BRICS, out in Russia and those other countries, like they're implementing this game theory. The game theory has been activated. Miners are doing it. Michael Saylor is doing it. Other companies are trying to do it, and it's only getting crazier from here, because there is an infinite amount of money that can go into Bitcoin, and there is a complete scarce amount of Bitcoin, only 21 million ever, EVER. Let's go on to the next tweet, which is from Michael Saylor himself. Year to date, MSTR's treasury operations delivered a Bitcoin yield of 41.8%, providing a net benefit of 79,130 Bitcoin to our shareholders. This equates to 246 Bitcoin per day acquired without the cost, energy consumption, or capital expenditures typically associated with Bitcoin mining. Think about this, my friends. This is an exciting tweet, because you're realizing what accretion does when MicroStrategy offers at the market, and they're actually selling shares to new investors, to current investors who are just buying more, and then they're using that money to buy more Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin per share is going up for every share that you own. The accretion is happening right there in live time. You can see it on MSTR-tracker.com. which we'll check back in within a second here. And you just got to get excited about that number going up. In fact, here we go. Let's check on this. Let's see if I hit refresh. Is this going to load for us now? And it looks like it's not. But again, I'm sure these technical difficulties are coming from absolute craziness as far as traffic goes. Let's go to a clip. I want to do 2 Saylor clips because they're always fun to hear him talk. And this one's a great one. So let's give it a listen.
Could not found Bitcoin. I was in despair. I had worked for a decade. I had spent 20,000 man years attempting to do everything under the sun. I could not get ahead. Right. And I was the same me. I wasn't stupid, right? You look at me and say, well, this is Michael Saylor worked as hard as he could for a decade and could not get ahead, right? And the most pernicious thing you can do to someone is you make them think that they're just not smart enough. And the reason they're failing is because they're not smart and they don't work hard enough. Mm-hmm. And then you realize, no, the system is rigged against you.
So I just love how Saylor breaks down in this interview just how absolutely critical it is. The fact that he's a really smart guy. He was busting his butt with MicroStrategy for a long time. He tried everything. He literally tried advertising, hiring new leadership, hiring the best players for his team. He tried everything. Nothing was working for him. And then, of course, COVID happened and a lot of other bad things happened. And he was losing employees because MicroStrategy's stock options were worth nothing and other companies were, like the Magnificent Seven. So they were fleeing to them. So he tried everything. And then he finally said, out of desperation, I had to go and learn about Bitcoin. And once he actually took the time to learn about Bitcoin, he understood Bitcoin, the perfect money that it is. And then he decided to make a huge bet on Bitcoin. And now we all know how that has played out. This is a tweet that I wanted to share because @PunterJeff just breaks down why no other publicly traded company will be able to compete with MicroStrategy. This is a must listen.
They own 252,000 Bitcoin. The next closest company that holds Bitcoin has roughly, I want to say 23,000 Bitcoin or something like that. And that's Mara, the mining company. So when you compare how much of a lead MicroStrategy has relative to other companies in the entire equity market, they have more than 10 times the next closest company Bitcoin holdings. They also have more than 2.5 times more Bitcoin on their balance sheet than all publicly traded equities combined. So to me, the bull case is looking at their Bitcoin holdings as a technological advantage and a significant moat. Because if another publicly traded company were to try to catch Bitcoin's or MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings, they would have to spend a significant amount of money in order to catch them. So MicroStrategy's 252,000 Bitcoin, I think, is worth around $17 billion right now. I estimate that if a company were to try to catch them from zero, say like Apple or Meta or some other company like that, they would have to expend probably anywhere between 45 and maybe $60 billion in order to catch them at 252,000 Bitcoin, because the price would start to run away. Now, if you start to think about how many of those companies could potentially actually catch them, who has the cash, who has the balance sheet to do it? There are roughly 8 to 10 publicly traded companies in the entire stock market that have more than $40 billion of cash on hand. And of those 8 to 10 companies, there's only one that has a sole leader that's got more than 50% of the voting rights that would be able to overrule the board of directors and start buying Bitcoin with their cash on hand. And that company is Meta. So Meta has roughly $58 billion of cash, and they could theoretically, with the direction of Mark Zuckerberg, buy Bitcoin to put it on their balance sheet to potentially compete with MicroStrategy. Now, the unique component here is Meta also has their existing business. So the stock wouldn't necessarily trade as volatile as MicroStrategy would trade, and MicroStrategy still would serve a unique position within the market, offering these convertible debt issuances, which is effectively a Bitcoin-backed bond. So long story short, I think they have a significant technological moat, and they are, in my opinion, likely to be one of the top-rated public entities in the entire stock market in short order. And I don't think there's any other company in the stock market that could potentially catch them.
All right, my friends, we will end on this tab right here. As you can see, hey, MicroStrategy is volatile. It has dropped $10 since we talked. Still up a healthy 12.45% for sure. And it's going to be a really good day. I did check the MSTR tracker is still closed or is still down for maintenance right now. So we're not going to be able to go check that out, but check it out later. I'm sure there's some good details on there. I will definitely be doing so myself. But I just want to say once again, thank you for joining us here on November 20th for the daily update, the latest and greatest on all things MicroStrategy here on Master MicroStrategy, where we are looking to master MicroStrategy and specifically master Michael Saylor's genius every single day and learn more about that. As I mentioned in previous videos, I'm going to be doing some separate episodes and shows that aren't just daily updates. They're going to be the daily update show, but then I'm also going to be dropping some topical based shows around other really key factors around MicroStrategy that I think would be really important for people to take a listen to, take a look at, and understand that. So, really hope you enjoyed this episode. Please remember, this is not financial advice. Consult a financial professional for any decisions you make around finances. These are just my opinions, my thoughts, me reporting on some information. And just remember, until next time, there is no second best.